PFL Week 2 main event going to be Impa Kasanganay versus Alex Polizzi. And we're going to be breaking down all of these fights. Jim is joining me. Sorry for the late video, guys. We're just learning something about PFL, and that's there's really no reason to do content more than a few days before the event. I write articles for him, and I'm just done writing articles until it starts on Wednesday or Thursday because these fights get canceled and moved around. It makes it tough. So we're trying to navigate when we can actually put out this content. So Jim, let's get into it. Marcelo Nunes and Jordan Heiderman. You got a sneaky. You think this is going to be a sneaky upset from Jordan Heiderman, which. What is this? Heiderman was on the card, then he's not on the card. Now he's back on the card.
Heiderman was booked, and then his fight fell through. They moved his fight around. Nunes was booked on this card. His fight fell through. They moved him around. I don't know if they flew these guys in last night to weigh in, and were they there? Were they not there? But this is a hodgepodge fight put together. Look, Jordan Heiderman was one of our fades. We were ready to fade Jordan Heiderman on his first matchup.
Fading Heiderman.
And, look, I love fading Nunes, too, to be honest with you. But now we got these two guys together, and I didn't really know what to make of this fight. And then we saw weigh-ins, and I have to say that I think Nunes is in some of the worst shape that I've seen him be in. He looks very soft. Heiderman does look in very good shape. That topology picture is not what he looks like. He's bulked up a lot. Okay?
Yeah.
And what you got to remember what Heiderman, too, is he was on the Ultimate Fighter. You know, he had his moments. Not the best fighter in the world, but look, we've seen Nunes we've seen his cardio fall off a cliff. We've seen him just give up. He does not have a good chin. I have extreme questions if this fight gets out of round one, if he has even a shot. I could see Heiderman pouring on in the second here and winning this fight. So, you know, right off the bat here, we have a hodgepodge fight where I like the underdog. So it's, you know, going to be a little crazy card here tonight. I would not be laying money on Nunes. However, if you take the under 2.5 in this fight, I do not see this fight getting to round 3. I think we're going to see a first or second round finish. Not to go the distance is quite chalky, but if you need to get a little bit of line down on another fight that you have, I think it's a good piece. Nunes has massive submission upside. I just question his chin and his cardio and the short notice aspect of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these guys are good, I don't think. The gas tank of both of them worries me. I do think one of them just either gets knocked out or just crumples over from exhaustion. So, yeah, the under is the way to go on him. I mean, don't forget, Heiderman's last win was a knee injury. So, and then he got smoked at his next one. So, under, possible on Heiderman. And, yeah, whenever you have these chaotic last second, we're going to switch fighters around, like, done values in the underdog because you don't know what the big we don't know what the big motivating factor is for this favorite in this fun. Adam Piccolotti and Elvin Espinoza, even money we'll call it. Line has shifted a little bit. Jim, what's your take on this one?
Again, we have Elvin Espinoza, who was booked to fight Romero, and I was on Romero as a dog. He was a pretty juicy dog number. I thought we were going to see an improved showing after he fought OAM, and sure enough, that fight is out. Adam Piccolotti steps in, Bellator fighter, decent skill set, not overly impressive in any way, shape, or form. Size advantage for Piccolotti. Again, we have no idea what Piccolotti was doing. Was he there? Did they call him and he had to jump on a plane? We don't know. Made weight okay. Looked good on the scales. Seems to be in shape. Espinoza is a grinder. He's not flashy in the striking. He'll keep coming forward. He's got a good gas tank, but 9-0, not really tested the best competition. Very interested in this fight to go over or go the distance. I could very much see this being a grimy split decision that goes to the cards. Nothing making my account just yet. You can have the over 2.5 at minus 210. That's a little pricey for my taste, especially on a short notice card to fill in here. So I would be looking at the overs if you're going to look anywhere. I don't have an opinion on the side in this fight.
Yeah, no opinion on either one of these guys. I don't need to break down any more. Probably overs, but honestly, probably not that bettable of a fight. So, Godzi, I always struggle with his name, Robodanov, and
Nice.
Renfro.
There you go.
Listen, I'm interested that the under is at plus money here. This is a Solomon Renfro that he's a little bit wild. I know it was a decision against Magomed, but Magomed is just a decision machine. Renfro can get guys into firefights. So I'm just not really sold that this is going to be the easy over. I get it that Godzi probably makes a decision. A bunch of his fights have come to. I don't know. I just feel like Renfro can. I feel like Renfro is one of those guys where if he somehow gets the fight at his pace, all of a sudden the under is completely in play and at plus money on a Solomon Renfro fight. Yeah, I'll take it. Sidewise, listen, Godzi's a big favorite, like for a reason. I would not play Renfro. I don't like his game. I don't think he's that great. I think he's wild. Not a mature. I don't know, skill set. What's your take on this one?
That's a great way of putting it. Is saying it's a mature skill set. It's not a mature skill set. He's learning as he's going. Let's put it that way. He's learning as he's going. Look, Renfro's shot in this fight, I think, is finished by knockout. I think if that does not come, you're looking at Godzi either late second, third. Maybe he locks up a submission if he can get to the back of Renfro, or it's going to be him by decision. These guys did, however, get a little into it at the face-offs. So there's a little bit of heat coming in here. Now, that could lend to your under, like you're saying, at plus money. Again, this is a seesaw fight. We're rocking back and forth. It's just not worth it. We had a great job last week in PFL. Went fantastic. So why risk it on a fight like this at this point? The name of the game is to be profitable at the end of the PFL season, not just the beginning. So I would pass on this fight. Yeah, we're kind of at odds as far as over and under and no sides to pick. Yeah, you can't play Godzi at that number. So
Bruno Miranda and Brent Primus. So we last saw Primus against Usman gets overturned to the no contest. Didn't have a great record coming into it, but I don't know. I never know what to make of Primus. I think he should be better than some of his showings. I don't know. I can't make heads or tails of this guy. And Bruno Miranda loses to OAM. It's not that he lost to OAM. You're like, it's all right. Losing one of the best, but to get ground and pounded, it's not. Yeah. That's not what OAM traditionally does. So that was kind of not a good look. This is a complete stay away from me. I don't have a strong opinion on this one. What say you?
Well, here's the breakdown of this fight is Brett Primus is going to try to get this fight to the ground, and Bruno Miranda is going to try to keep it standing. That's this whole fight right here. If it stays standing, it's going to be Bruno Miranda. If it goes to the ground, it's going to be Brett Primus. We saw what happened to Miranda when OAM got on top, and Primus has a size advantage. Miranda has the striking advantage. Miranda's going to try to throw that lead calf kick. And if he's landing that throughout this fight, that's really going to hurt Primus. Primus is no spring chicken. He's been around for a very long time. He's absorbed a lot of damage. However, I like his all-around game better than I do Miranda's. I think Miranda really this season is going to have to show that he made improvements in the wrestling because, people have figured him out. I think after that OAM fight, we know that we don't want to stand with him. We want to take him down. So this fight is purely who is going to be in whose game here. Over, I could see this I don't see Brett Primus finishing Miranda. I think it's more controlled and advancing position and going for a finish. But we also don't know how these Bellator guys are going to fight in the PFL format. Maybe Primus is going for that finish. It's a curious fight. I didn't expect to see Brett Primus in this tournament, to be honest with you. Not really a massive fan of his, so... tough fight to predict. Whoever gets this in their wheelhouse is going to probably look like a very large favorite. So you're gambling on where this fight is going to take place. And if you feel it's standing, it's Miranda. You think Primus gets him down, it's Primus. Other than that, no take on it.
Jacob, Neato, I like the under in this one. I don't think that's breaking news. It's like even money at under 1.5. Maybe jump up to 2.5. maybe lay the juice on it, but this guy just screams under. He gets into these really big brawls, and it's kill or be killed. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about. I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to pronounce his name. I don't know too much about him. I just know when Neato fights, it's an under waiting to happen. So he's a kill or be killed kind of guy, minus 142. So maybe Neato by finish. I don't know. What's your take?
I like Neato in this fight. I do. This is going to be a little bit of a tough test for him. Coming off PFL Europe, not the best competition, but he did have very good competition in his last fight, and he did win that fight. He causes a car crash, okay? And he can take damage, he can give damage, and I question whether his opponent, we'll call him his opponent because I'm not trying it either, I wonder if he could stand up to the barrage that's going to be coming forward. So I agree. I think this fight not to go the distance is a fantastic parlay piece. I believe it was minus 225 last time.
That's pretty good, man.
Right?
I
think that's pretty good.
Really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really playable straight if you don't want to lay that juice, but I think somebody finds a finish in this fight, and I think it's Neato. He's just a berserker, man. It's like we were talking with Charles Oliveira. It was an Oliveira fight. He's just going to cause a car crash, and he's kind of the same way, this guy. Big size advantage, too. Looks in shape. Better shape than he did in the PFL Europe. So we can see improvements from him.
Okay. Shoeface and Simon Beyond, man, tons of money coming in on Shoeface. If you were in the live chat on the PFL weigh-ins, my God, Shoeface is, everybody loves him. Just loves him. So he's got an interesting story. I guess he's the pick, but man, he's getting juiced out to where you really can't play him. So, I don't know. We haven't seen him since, almost 2 years, coming up on 2 years. So, what's your take?
So, a lot of red flags with Shoeface. And like you said, if there's one pick on this card that everybody's on, guess who it is? It's Antonio Carlos Jr., my friends. And he's coming off doing a reality TV show. After or during the reality TV show, he got into some kind of fight, and there's charges against him pending. It's just, what a muddy track back here. 2 years off.
So funny.
Probably the best grappler in this weight class, I will say. His submission game is fantastic. If he gets a neck, your night is done. It is done. You are not getting out. Decent stand-up, can be a little lumbering and loopy with his shots. It's not crisp. Simon Beyond is the polar opposite. Polar opposite. No ground game, former basketball player, dynamic physical specimen, okay? Handed Luke Traynor his first loss, and we like Luke Traynor. We hit a bet on Traynor the other week. He was good. I think this is a dead under, and fight doesn't go the distance right here. Whoever's fight this is, I could totally see Carlos Jr. getting clipped early and blowing up everybody's parlays.
That's
then
funny.
you're going to see a steamroll of money on the rest of the fights tonight. Everybody chasing, trying to get back. I get the confidence, but I am not going to be as confident as everyone else with the outside drama and 2 years off from the cage. It's a different season, and just because he won it once before, look, Father Time, it starts creeping in. It does. He's no spring chicken.
He was just trying to stay in fight shape, Yeah,
I
hadn't had a PFL fight in a while. I'll go on a reality show and get in a fight. So,
if you're in you're in the house. If they got no heavy bag, you got to hit something, I guess, right?
I'll hit Carl. Sadabusi and Josh Silvera. Obviously, the big news is Sadabusi moving up to the weight class. I'm guessing a lot of you saw how big Sadabusi is last week, and you didn't even know it. He was standing next to Chris Curtis on the walkout. They trained together. He was so big, I didn't recognize him. I was like, I know that guy. And then it was like in the middle of the fight, it hit me who that was. I was like, oh my God, that big guy Sadabusi, he's moving up. He's massive. Listen, you're either we're gonna know after this fight if Sadabusi has made a big mistake by trying to kill himself to make weight at the other division, or if this is just unattainable and the cardio is too much. But he is a gigantic human being right now, and he's much bigger than Josh Silvera, who you and I are not high on in the slightest. So I guess let's talk Sousi. What's your take on him?
This man should have been at this weight class his whole career. Like,
Yeah.
if he could have built muscle up and cut down, he could most certainly add muscle and cut down to 205 and be just an Adonis. He is massive. I mean, you see it in his neck, his traps, his lats. His whole body is thicker. The man, if you guys watch the preview videos, he had to literally starve himself to get to this weight class. It was brutal. Now he's eating 3-4 chicken breasts at a dinner, and he's like, I don't even have to cut weight. I think he came in right at 204. I think he came in a pound under. Looks fantastic, looks healthy. Age is not on his side, I will say. He's a little bit older, but Sousi hasn't taken any damage in his career. I mean, even in his losses, it's been from a wrestler holding him down. I like Sousi. I do. If we shift over to Josh Silvera, I have a little bit of a hot take on Josh Silvera. So why don't you tell us what you think about Josh first?
Well, his 3 wins are as fraudulent as you get. So okay, so Sam Key, who's awful, he beats him. Delon Monte hurt his knee, and it wasn't from damage. Delon Monte took a step back when they were not engaged and just tore his knee. And then Ty Flores, Josh Silvera was getting ready to lose to Ty Flores. Silvera was getting exhausted in that fight, and you could feel the tide turning. He didn't get Ty Flores out. Who, by the way, Ty Flores is not great. So Silvera couldn't get him out of there in the first round. You can see Ty Flores coming on, and then bang, catches him with the knees, and then Impa just schooled him. But I mean, it was a 5-round schooling on the feet, cardio. Like Impa wasn't breathing hard throughout the whole thing. It was a credit to how hard Impa trained for that one. But I thought Josh Silvera looked like he was in junior varsity and Impa was in varsity. And now you're going to go up against Sousi, who's going to kick him harder than he's ever been kicked. He is. I think, and I'm not like what Silvera's not a wrestler that can beat Sousi. He's not going to hold him down. He doesn't have the cardio. It's one shot. That's what Silvera has. He has one shot, like knockout power to try and get C out of there. And to be honest, if he doesn't do it early, I think he's in trouble. I think it's C, and I can't believe the line. By the way, the line was like minus 155. Then all of a sudden we wake up one morning and Sousi's the underdog. Yeah. And then now it's right back up there.
That underdog lasted about 7 minutes.
Yeah, my guess is somebody with a lot of money was having fun with that line and was able to get it down and then hit him big with the plus money or the close. So I think it's C, and I don't think it's close. What's your take on Silvera?
The only reason Josh Silvera was in the finals last season is because PFL had half of their roster suspended.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah.
He would have never been in the finals, okay? He wasn't going to get through Rob Wilkinson. He wasn't going to – I don't even know if he gets through Thiago Silva. Yeah. It just – really, I'm curious that he was there, and that's why we were so heavy on Impa in that fight. That was one of our bigger bets of the year last year. Our more confident was Impa to win it all in that fight. Look, there's one thing that Josh does really badly, and that's take damage from kicks to the body. And
might be a problem.
You might be a problem. Sousi throws those really crisp, snappy front kicks right to the body. He goes to great leg kicks. I don't see how Josh is going to chase him down. Sousi's cardio should be better than it was at his previous weight class. His strength should be better. Those kicks are going to be stronger. There's no doubt. This isn't a debate, okay? Cutting down to 170 versus being 205 pounds, his techniques are going to be way more powerful, okay? He was a fighter predicated on speed, and now I think that power's behind it. I see that Josh is coming in fitter, but I think this is a tall task, and I think this line is close because you're hearing a 2-weight class jump, okay? When you have a man who's 6'3", it's not a big jump. This isn't Frankie Edgar going up to fight, middleweight.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I get
This
what
is
you're
different.
saying. Yeah.
He's 6'3". He's a big man. So I love Sadabu. I liked him from the beginning. I think this is a calculated move. It's been planned for a while. I expect him to get a decision win. I will say that. I do think it'll be decision. I don't think he'll take a risk and go for the finish unless it's very, very evident, because he needs to stay off the cage and not get taken down. So it's what Sadabu does. Sadabu by decision.
Mads Bernell and Michael Defort. Somebody on the weigh-ins. But I'll tell you what, man. The PFL does a good job of trying to overhype the shit out of their fighters. I don't get it, man. They're over the top. They're laughable in some of the things. And last night, Michael Defort, his new OAM. We're going there. The guy that just fought in Cage Titans and Aries Fight Series and UAW is the new OAN. So he's fighting Mads Bernell. I know you're a big Mads Bernell fan in this one, so I'll let you break down this fight first.
This has been just mind-blowing from the beginning. I am all over Mads Bernell. I've bet it with my own money. I love Mads Bernell. He's got fantastic boxing. Goes to the body, which we love to see. Absolutely love to see. And I've watched every single one of Michael's fights. And I don't see why everybody is in love with this guy. Is it the OAM connection? He's got a good ground game. Like, I'll give him that. He's got a good ground game. He's dangerous. But Mads Bernell's no joke on the ground either, and he's improved that. You know, if you look early in Mads' career, he was losing by submission. He's become a fantastic grappler, and I think he's going to stay defensively sound. I would not be shocked in this fight if Defort comes across the cage and grapples with Bernell for 3-4 minutes, makes zero progress, and you just see the body work and the boxing start to come in with Mads Bernell. This is up a weight class for Mads, but he's never really a ripped guy. I think he filled out pretty well at this weight class. They kind of knew it was coming. He trains with Sadabusi, so it's very interesting that both of these guys are moving up in weight for this tournament. Extreme Couture, great gym, great training partners. He's working side by side with Sean Strickland, and with his boxing, working with Sean Strickland, I expect it only to be better. This could be the Mads Bernell coming out party. I wouldn't be shocked with a late round finish where it's just a war of attrition and he just melts Michael. But I do think the first round could be a little sketchy. So I will have live lines open in this fight as well. If we can get a really good plus number on Mads Bernell at the end of round one, I will be all over that, because I think he wins 2 and 3 convincingly.
Love it. Mads Bernell, Michael Defort, Clay Collard, and Patricky Pitbull. You know when I was you know what I was getting ready for when I talked about PFL overhyping. They have gone to the point where they're not saying he's a super exciting fighter. They went all the way as to say that Clay Collard is the most exciting fighter in the world.
Yes.
At this
in all of MMA.
In the world, Clay Collard. And I have breaking news. He's not. But he's fighting Patricky Pitbull. I do think this fight could be fun. Good. This is a good stylistic fight for a pretty fun match. So I actually like Collard. I'm not a big Pitbull fan. I mean, he does have the one shot, knockout power, but he didn't get it against Chablis and goes the distance and loses. Goes to the distance Usman and loses. So when he gets you out of there, clearly wins. But if he doesn't get you out of there, he tends to lose these decisions. And Collard is good at these types of fights. This is the OAM was just a bad stylistic fight for him. He made some pretty dumb moves. And then just got, torched against A.J. McKee early. But I think this is a really good comeback win for Collard. I think Pitbull's better days are behind him. I think this is a nice little boxing stand-up fight that could have some moments of some pretty big bursts of energy. But I think it's Collard by decision is probably how I would play this one.
I love when Andy picks Clay Collard to win. His favorite fighter. It's the best. We bet against him the last couple times. We did. We've had a good read on Clay Collard, haven't we?
Yeah.
We're on, we're off. This is Clay all day. How does Clay Collard lose fights? He gets out wrestled. He gets submitted, right? Loses a close split decision. Which one of these two fighters is going to have more of a workload in the third? Clay Collard all day
Yeah,
long.
of course, for sure.
2.5 minutes into the second, who's going to be pouring it on? It's going to be Clay.
Clay.
Pitbull's going to be one shot, looking for the big shot. And we've seen Pitbull really struggle with somebody that goes to the body. And that is what Clay Collard does. He's going to want to get in close. I would assume at some point we're going to see a takedown from Pitbull, who is not his brother and not the grappler that his brother is.
What?
It's mostly knockouts. Shocker, right?
What?
Also, again, we have a PFL fighter who is used to the no elbows. We have a Bellator fighter who is a berserker and reliant on elbows. That's not going to happen. Can't do it. So if he does get on top of Clay, that ground and pound, I think, will be a little bit nullified. And I don't see the submission threat. I love Collard in this spot. I think it's a great price. You know, is Clay going to win the whole tournament? I don't think so, but I think he very easily could win this fight. And then they can build him up as even more of an exciting fighter for his next fight.
But by all means, build him up. Listen, by all means, build up Clay Collard, because you're right. You and I have had good reads on him. That is something that, if you have a good read on a fighter, you can just stick to those guys and you can come away with some really, really good reads. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% that Collard, fade him when you know what hurts him, which is those wrestling, and this is just not going to be it. So
I hated him against McKee. I mean, that was
worst possible matchup.
Horrible
for him.
matchup
It was
for him.
terrible.
Yeah.
So Rob Wilkinson and Tom Breese. All right, Wilkinson, not allowed to have steroids in this one there, Jim. So what are we going to get with these guys without steroids, man? I don't care what you say. They're different. They are different fighters. And here's a long slew of early finishes. And here's this no contest where, he didn't get Thiago Santos out of there. He gets popped for roids. And he's going up against Tom Breese, who I kind of like his fights. You know, he doesn't fight the best in the world. He's pretty quick on the feet. A lot of early finishes here. Just how do you handicap How do you handicap those steroids with Wilkinson? To me, that's the hardest part of this fight.
Well, I will say that his body is different. If you scroll up to his profile, click on Rob and hit his profile picture real quick on Tapology. And this is not the man that we saw at weigh-ins. I'll say that right now. Those pecs are not what they were. He's not the same. So this has me a lot of pause in this fight as far as picking Wilkinson. And everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. No, I haven't heard anybody talking about Tom Breese and actually putting their money where their mouth is. So this is another one like the Carlos Jr. spot where I think this is everybody's parlay. I think it's Carlos Jr. and Wilkinson. That's the parlay of the night.
Oh, really? You think that's the big one? Huh?
Yes. Rob coming back. I think that's the parlay of the night for the casuals, and I think one of those two guys is going to bite you, and it very well could be him. Look, Breeze was bigger at face-offs, too.
I was stunned.
Yeah.
By that, stunned. I thought Breeze was going to be undersized. I really did.
I think Breeze is in the best shape of his life. He looked great on the scales. And we've said that Tom Breeze is a bit of a head case. He struggles with confidence. The man is oozing confidence going into this fight, which we have not seen from him even back when he was in the UFC. We've never seen this beaming confidence. It's almost like he knows something. Now,
it is plumb. The line, even since we started doing this video, is coming
still
down.
going,
I mean, Wilkinson's minus 140. This is a big line move.
That was as big as, I believe, minus 225, minus 230-ish at one point, and that is plummeting. It's plummeting.
Yeah.
And I would not be shocked to see an upset by Tom Breese here. Tom Breese has such an advantage if he gets on top of Rob. His grappling is, say what you will about him as a fighter, his grappling's elite. Now, Rob is going to try to cause a car crash in this fight. He's going to try to go for a knockout. This fight to not go the distance, I'm all over. I'd love this fight not to go the distance because either we're wrong about Rob and he puts it on Tom and we see that doubt creep in. We've seen Tom kind of fold up when things don't go his way, or Rob is going to get halfway through this first round and the cardio's not going to be there. The strength to stop the takedown's not going to be there. And if Tom Breese ends up on top of you, it is a bad night. So we've seen it with these light heavyweights in round one too. they go for finishes. They know they need the points.
Yeah,
we saw
that's
it last
another good
week.
point.
It was beautiful. So I think we're going to see more of that today. And those guys already fought. Like, you got to get your points early now. Get your points early and get them going.
Yeah. Impa Kasanganay and Alex Polizzi, if you guys could hit the like button for us real quick. Leave us a comment. It really helps the algorithm. I know we're late on this, but yeah, just let's Wager Talk know we're doing a good job. So just even if it's just an emoji or a thank you, just some kind of comment really helps us out. All right, Impa, what do you think? We're going back to him?
Never getting off him.
Never getting up. Yeah, it's
I
right.
love Impa in this spot, man. And the line has come down. He opened, what, a -5?
He was 500. Yeah.
500 favorite. And it's down to, sub 400. Impa's the champ. And he's the champ for a reason. Okay? Coming off this fight against Johnny Eblen, would you say that's a good thing or a bad thing, the loss to Eblen?
I mean, that's a hell of a performance
It's a great fight.
against Johnny Eblen. I mean, and coming off of winning against Silvera, Hamlet, Karen. I mean, guy's been on a hell of a run against fairly decent opponents, and I mean, holding your own against Eblen and even getting a split was you could. And remember that time that there was that shot, that look on his face towards the end of the fight where he was like, "I blew it. I had this guy." He was like, you could just see he was like, "I had this guy."
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's Impa. I think it's a great parlay piece tonight.
The riot about the end of that was he's sitting there in the middle of the cage with his mouth closed and he's not even breathing heavy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow. If you guys watch that Eblen Impa fight, it is high paced. I mean, those guys went at it for 3 rounds. Man, that should have been a 5-round fight. That would have been fantastic. Gosh. Not a fan of Pelosi. Okay? I think he's a middle of the road fighter. He does have a little bit of a size advantage. I forgot about this, but when Pelosi fought Yoel Romero, he broke his jaw in 2 places.
That's amazing.
Had to come back from that. So I have serious questions about the durability of Pelosi. He has absorbed a ton of damage in his career, an absolute ton. So initially, I wanted to take Impa by decision because he's been tough, but no pun intended. But is that chin cracked permanently here? He's going up against, the best of the best from last season. I think Impa's better at 205 than he is at 185. I like Impa here. I think he's parlayable. I want no part of picking by finisher decision or over-under. Just give me the money line on last year's champion to get out of the first round of fights with a victory. And I think he'll do that. He did mention his goal for this year is all finishes, all fights. But I don't believe that he'll chase it. So
Okay.
I'm not taking a side on this. Over and under. I'm on Impa money line.
All right, quick little review. Nunez and Heidemann take unders, and don't be surprised if Heidemann pulls the upset. Piccolotti and Espinoza. Do we even come? We're not betting that fight.
Over
Just
was the only
overs,
thing I had.
just
Fight
overs.
goes the distance. Yeah.
Renfro and Godzi. I kind of lean unders just because of Renfro, but I won't be betting it. Bruno Miranda and Primus. Did we come to a decision on that? Just wherever the fight.
These are tough this week, guys.
They're tough.
It's one of those. If you have live lines, you most certainly live bet that fight. I will say that. I know you want predictions at a time, but whoever's in whoever's wheelhouse, that's how you bet it.
Yeah. Let's see. Bruno Miranda, Primus went over that one. Jacob Neato unders. Junior and Bong unders. Sousi and Silvera, we like Sousi. Mads Bernell, we like Mads Bernell. Collard and Pitbull, we like Collard. Wilkinson and Breese. Kind of like Breeze at the plus money. The line movement is reflecting that. You can still get it plus money. And then Impa is a great parlay piece, we believe. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Hit the like button, leave us a comment. Good luck on all your plays. UFC 300 5% play is still available, and that video is still up at wagertalk.com where we break down all the fights. Good luck on your plays. We'll see everyone later.
Take care, guys.